from YouTube live stream. Guys, man, is it good to be back. I'm hoping that a lot of you will still be notified of the live streams and have not lost hope that the live streams are just completely gone, because they are not. I had a lot of people commenting, hey, are the live streams dead? What's going on with the streams? And they are not. It has been, man, a hell of a past few weeks. Hello and welcome, Sam. Good to see you. It has been a hell of a past few weeks, guys. I won't lie to you. It's been a nightmare, but we are slowly but surely getting back on schedule, getting back on track. I had my first range day back today, this morning, that went really well. And yeah, it's been a wild ride. So for a little bit of a channel update before we start talking about what's been going down with the ATF the past few days, and you know, the nightmare that's been going on there. If you guys didn't see my post on so YouTube has like a community section. It's a little bit confusing just because it's almost like an Instagram or Twitter or something like that, where you can scroll up and see posts, but it's kind of only available like on your phone. You can get to it on the computer, so it depends on how you guys view the channel stuff. Pimpin' ain't easy. That's right, buddy. But I got, unfortunately, how am I going to phrase this so I don't get kicked off of YouTube? Because if you mention this on YouTube, it's like an absolute no-go. So I got the illness that people are trying to avoid right now. That should be the best way to put it. And yeah, that definitely did suck, but it is what it is. I think everybody's going to get that eventually at some point, and you know, my time of getting it was now, or I should say a few weeks ago. So that definitely threw a wrench in everything as far as my work schedule. And then over the past week and a half, I've been pulling a bunch of extra hours at work. It is what it is. It kind of relates a little bit to that. So I won't go into it too much, but it has definitely been a very, very intensely frustrating and busy last few weeks. I still was keeping up with, as much content as I possibly could. There was about a week there where I was, completely out for the count. That definitely sucked to not be able to, come up with content for you guys. And then following that, been slowly trickling in the videos again. Live streams have been the most difficult, just because for the last, 2 weeks pulling a bunch of extra hours at work, it limits a lot of my additional time. So you guys have heard me say this before, but editing a video, getting it out, is a lot easier for me to do than these live streams, because these live streams I have to allocate, an hour time block out of the day when there's a bunch of stuff going on, to sit down, talk and everything like that. And it can be a little bit challenging to do that. So hopefully the live streams will be able to come back relatively as normal, and the videos are going to come back as normal. I have now had a little bit of extra footage thanks to the range trip today. So videos next week should be bringing back range type reviews and different things like that. So stay tuned. It's not over yet. We are here, and we're back, and it's good to be back. Sorry guys, I want to read everybody's comments right away so I don't get bogged down. Neil, what is up, man? Good to see you as well. Has the ATF even put in comment section yet? Last night they still hadn't. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. So I guess let's go ahead and get into it now. Before we get into it, if you guys aren't already updated, on where you can support the channel, just head to the video description. All the links are down there on where you can support me, and they will be down there after this live stream ends, and all my other videos. they're down there and pretty much good to go. So if you want to support me, head down there, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and just try to, if you can, stay updated on my content. A lot of people don't really get this, but YouTube shadows it. What does that mean? It means that you could be subscribed to my channel, right? And you go onto YouTube, you want to watch your daily videos, and you're scrolling through, and I post a new video, but for whatever reason, it gets shadowed from your site. It's not on your subscription feed. You can't see the video that I just posted on your subscription feed, even though you're still subscribed, or a lot of people get unsubscribed. So how you can help me out is just from time to time, if you find a second during your week, actually manually head to my channel, Firearm Freedom, no spaces, and just see if there's any new videos, any new updates, anything you might have missed, because YouTube definitely does not help me out in that aspect. So all that stuff, it really does help me out. Aside from that, let's go ahead and get into the ATF stuff. ATF has been right on the money on their timeline that they were given by the executive actions that were taken in regards to 80% frames and soon to braces or braced large frame pistols as well. They were given a time of 30 days to deal with quote-unquote ghost guns and figure out what to do with those, possibly recategorize 80% frames, 80% lower receivers for AR-15s, 80% lower receivers for anything else. And they were on the spot with that 30-day turnaround. So, kind of could see that coming with the current political climate and everything like that. A few days ago on Friday evening, they put an update on their website in regards to what their new plans are with 80% or ghost guns or, other items, we'll say, redefining really what a firearm is, redefining what a receiver is, and how they're going to go about doing that. I'll be upfront with you guys and say that you need to go to the ATF's website, and I'll try to post a link under this live stream when the live stream's over directly to that, where you can find that information. Because here's the deal. They have an update section where it's basically just jumps to right to the point and gives you a nice, it gives you a summary of the documents that are involved, that are being proposed. I don't know that a comment section for you to comment has been opened up yet or not. It may not have been. I did notice some wording about comments on their website, but I don't know that that's officially open yet. It may be open tomorrow on Monday, after the weekend. I don't know how they're going to run that. When it comes to that summary, it's absolute horseshit, honestly. So this is why I'm telling you guys to go read this, because I cannot pull really a single piece of information from that summary at all. And if you would like to read where that summary is, what that summary is gathering information from, underneath it you can click the PDF to learn about this further. And it is a 115-page document, 115-page PDF file that is almost all in legalese, and you pretty much have to be an attorney as you're reading through it to figure out where this is going. And I think the ATF wanted it that way exactly. I think they want to completely confuse you. They want to make this so much more arbitrary than it already is. They want to make this so much more gray than it already is, that their power grows to a pretty incredible amount, even compared to what their power already is. They don't want to further define any of these items because they don't want anybody, they don't want to say, let me put it this way. This is an opinionated statement. Obviously, they're not stating this anywhere, but my opinion would be that they don't want to state, hey, 80% are going to be redefined as firearms and redefined as frames or receivers. because I would imagine they don't want 79%, frame coming out after that, because they realize, or they need to realize, that their arbitrary BS law, or not laws, BS interpreting of the law is nonsense. It's complete and total nonsense. So what they want now is an even more gray lineup to really have you not able to do anything about it. Nobody has any idea what to do. And if there's anything to show you that, it's that almost 120-page document that is just total trash. I mean, it is so difficult for the common everyday person to read through that and understand what is going on. It's difficult for the common person to read through their summary and understand what is going on, what they're trying to do. There have been other people on YouTube who have already talked about this more in depth and already kind of put out their opinions. I'm gonna kind of agree with a lot of that, because I think that's really where they're trying to go. But I'm not an attorney. I'm not a legal advisor. I can't read that document and say, oh, this is exactly what they're trying to do. And that's what you really need to be to understand the document. So that's why, I really think you guys should just go read it for yourselves and figure out what you think it means. I would imagine what they are trying to do with this document is require 80% frames to be marked as frames or receivers legally and be marked as firearms. They are wanting to redefine what constitutes a firearm itself, what constitutes a privately made firearm. I think they use the term PMF in the new, wording now, because they have to define readily, and it's just I'm sorry, guys, it's laughable. I mean, it is absolutely laughable trying to read through this, because it's just a crock of shit. The whole thing is horrible. But I think what you're going to see out of this after the comment period, now they also haven't stated how long the comment period is going to be. Is it going to be 14 days? Is it going to be 30 days? Is it going to be a week? We have no idea. We have absolutely no idea what the comment period is going to be, and what the outcome is going to be. There are talks in the summary about potentially even recategorizing AR-15 uppers, according to their new definitions, as serialized parts, as serialized items. I'm not sure if the ATF realizes how many hundreds of thousands to how many millions of AR-15 variant or split receiver variant, meaning an upper and a lower, uppers there are out in the country right now. There's far more than would ever be. And Jesus, the engraving shops, for their ridiculous requirements for engraving, which, if you don't already know, it is a proper depth, a proper text, a proper font required for NFA engraving. You can't just grab a letter punch and just punch your name and everything like that in. It doesn't work like that. You have to go to a specific engraver, according to the ATF, or somebody that can meet those lines. And I got news for you. There's not many NFA engravers in your area, more than likely. I know, in my area here, luckily we do NFA engraving at the shop that I work at, so I am relatively close. But aside from that, I mean, the next nearest engraver is an hour and 20 minutes away, and that's generally the case for most people. It would be physically impossible. I totally agree, Sean. There's not. That's why this document is bullshit, is because it would be physically impossible to do what they're doing. They have absolutely no idea. And quite frankly, we have no idea how many 80% frames are out there. We have absolutely no idea. And there's absolutely no way to track that. There's absolutely no way to guarantee they're serialized. And I got news for you. Serial numbers don't do anything to prevent or stop crime. Even a little bit. That was something that was brought in by the GCA back in the 1960s for further control over the industry. That's all that is. And to make it slightly easier for law enforcement to track where that firearm came from in a lineup. But does it stop crime? No, not at all, not even a little bit. So they try to play words there to make you assume that whatever it is they're doing, make you assume if you're, a normal everyday person, that what they're doing is going to stop crime. It's going to prevent crime. And that's absolutely not the case. Absolutely not the case. Nothing that they are doing is going to stop or prevent crime. As far as, ghost guns is how they're phrasing it in their lineup. Got to be really scary with the terminology there, of course, because it's the ATF. What do I think is going to happen from this? Well, I think they're going to probably open up a comment section. Obviously, is it a good idea for you to comment? I would say if you got the time, definitely give it a comment. Here's the deal. If you're going to just repost, a spam comment, basically, that everybody else is posting, it's probably not going to do you much good because, as others have said, the ATF does have to manually sit there and go through all of the comments. And if they're all the same regurgitated comment that's a copy and paste, they generally respond to that. So they lump up, hundreds of comments and they respond to it just with one answer rather than putting an individualized comment that they have to respond to on an individualized basis. So it's not a good idea to just post the same comment over and over again as far as if you believe in the comment thing for working. Will it work? I really don't know. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't really think that you guys are going to want to hear my opinion on any of that stuff anymore. I really don't. I have tried very, very hard to give you guys a straightforward answer. But at this point, I am getting the farthest from optimistic. And I really, am getting incredibly negative moving forward about what's going on. And I don't want to push that off onto you guys because, I don't want to I don't want to crush everybody's hopes and dreams here on what's going to work. But I also don't want to share around the common groupthink, that goes around in the firearm industry, the social media firearm industry. That, I almost feel like nobody wants to say what they actually want to say because they can't. And that shows you kind of where we are in the country and where we are with social media. Instead of saying what they actually want to say or actually want to do, they'll move forward with writing your reps and, writing the emails and commenting on comment periods and everything like that. Has the comment period actually stopped things with the ATF before? Yes. Yes, it has. But the only thing more recently that it has actually stopped from ever being talked about again was the green tip, 5.56 green tip ban, possible ban. That was a huge comment period. There was a lot of backlash with it, and it stopped it. Could it have stopped 7N6 from being banned, which is 5.45? Possibly. It definitely could have stopped it with that. As far as with pistol braces, it may have withdrawn it, but it did not stop it. And I think, unfortunately, that's where we're going to start getting here. Is I think the ATF is coming out of the gate with fire under their ass pretty good. And I think that even if they get a ridiculous amount of backlash here, they're going to come back even harder. 6 months later, a month later, whatever, with an even newer one, and they're just going to keep going until they can get what they want done, and that's exactly what you're seeing with pistol braces. I think it's also difficult, we get kind of screwed, unfortunately, with previous laws that were already passed, mainly like the GCA, the Gun Control Act, mainly like the NFA in 1934, mainly the ATF being in existence as a whole, Reason being is because no matter what, they're going to constantly try to shove this down our throats until it just goes. So, can you email and, write a comment? Absolutely. And I would say, sure, absolutely do it. And maybe it makes a difference. Maybe it, it turns some things around. I think it is a lot harder, and I think they're already doing, unfortunately, a good job with making it as confusing as it is. It is tough to read. Sure, you can watch, another video from another YouTuber here on YouTube talking about the summary. Hey, this is what it means. This is what it's doing. This is what it does, whatever. But I think the common person doesn't even know what the hell is going on. As far as the common gun owner, right? The common gun owner that's like, I just bought my first pistol, whatever. They don't even know what an 80% frame is. So I think if anything, it's important right now to share the information on, if you don't want to share this video, I don't really care. I'm telling you guys to talk with your friends, with your other, close people in your groups that have just gotten into the firearm stuff, that don't really know what that is, that don't know where they can find the information. Because if you try to tell somebody to go read about it, and they're going to go read about it, and I can tell you that, again, it's going to take a lawyer to read through that summary and figure out what they're trying to do. I mean, it's like they're talking a different language, and they're doing that purposefully. They don't want to make it clear. They don't want to make it right out in your face, because the more that it's right out in your face, the more that they can really get angry, a large, massive group in the firearm community, to comment, to flood the comment section that they have open. And that's exactly what they don't want to happen. They want to make it incredibly vague and arbitrary and gray so that anybody reading it doesn't even know what they're really trying to do and can't even figure out if they're trying to do anything, because all the information almost looks like they're regurgitating what was already on the books, and then adding in these little key like lawyer words that really is a make it or break it thing for legality, and nobody really knows what the hell they're talking about, as far as knowing what the ATF is talking about. I would imagine, and this is what I want you guys to prepare for, this is the big thing about this live stream, is the pistol braces moving forward. I think a lot of people, maybe almost not have a sigh of relief, but it's been about a month, we haven't heard anything about pistol braces, and that's because the DOJ gave the ATF 60 days in order to come back with information about pistol braces. So we're about 30 days out from that. And I got news for you guys. If you think there is going to be a clear, crystal-cut way of information flowing out of the ATF in regards to pistol braces 30 days from now, I don't know what planet you're living on. But I would almost guarantee that 30 days from now, we are going to be looking at a horrendously gray and arbitrary writing on pistol braces that may or may not deem an individual making an illegal SBR moving forward. And the only way to know, this is what they really want, and this is what you can kind of sum up from their information on their website. They want it to be gray to the point that you don't know, to the point that the only way somebody knows if they've broken the law is if they either A, write an email to the ATF asking if they broke the law, or wind up in a court case and the ATF slams you in federal prison because you broke a law that you didn't even realize you broke. And this is really where we're heading. A lot of people were asking, in the beginning when we had a new president get elected, hey, I don't think he's going to be able to do this or that legally through the legislative process. There's no way the House or the Senate is going to let that stuff through. And that may very well be the case. But as we're seeing right now, as we are sitting here talking on this live stream, we are seeing that they are not going through the legislative process, that they are getting this new fire going through the ATF, utilizing a completely rogue agency that does not follow the Constitution and that does not make law, but somehow does make law because they reinterpret the laws that are already on the books. They are the people that are supposed to interpret the firearms laws and enforce the firearms laws, right? So now it's this really crafty way that politics is working, where instead of going through the proper legislative process, they're like, hey, we could just go ahead and write to our friends at the ATF and have them recategorize all of these items. So effectively, we're creating a ban, we're creating a registry without actually having to go through any sort of a legislative process. And this is pretty cool, right? This is pretty awesome. And that's exactly what they're thinking, and that is what they are going to do. My friends, we are in a trial period right now for them seeing exactly what they are going to be able to accomplish in the months to years moving forward with the ATF. These are the first steps. These are the absolute first steps. And if they're able to successfully get a massive backdoor registry of large frame pistols, let's say, onto the NFA, I would almost guarantee you that the next step moving forward, and we talked about this all the way back when we were dealing with bump stocks, right? That they are just going to keep moving forward with that. Now we need to register on the NFA, rate increasing devices, or now we need an entirely new category on the NFA of, quote, assault weapons, right? And in order to do that, we don't even have to go through the legislative process. We're the ATF. We're just going to reevaluate the law that's already on the book, and our science department, because science now views that actually these were breaking the law the whole time and they need to be on the NFA. That is exactly what they're going to try to do. I'd almost guarantee it. I'd almost guarantee it. And I think you're going to see that moving forward. You're going to see that moving forward, and it's going to get very uncomfortable. It's going to get very, very, very uncomfortable. I'll tell you what. As far as other than the comment period, I would love, this is what I would love to see, and I'm sure I'm going to get flack for this. Maybe I won't. I don't really care. But I would say that as an industry, the more that they push with this, the more that federal law enforcement pushes with anti-gun ridiculous rhetoric, I would love to see the industry stop supplying them with anything. So say you got, local gun shops getting together, and there's ATF agents in every area of the country, in every county in the country. I would say stop giving them service. Stop selling them firearms. Stop selling them ammunition. Stop selling them things to train with. I'm sorry, but you chose where you wanted to be, and you're working for an agency that is absolutely violating all of our constitutional rights. And I don't see an issue with that at all. That's a way to push back without having to deal with just emails, with just emails, and having shops band together so that they feel the pressure, that they feel like, crap, I'm working for the ATF, now I can't buy these firearms. Why should they be able to get the free pass with all of this in regards to, buying whatever they want to buy and having no problems with it when they're at the same time stripping the rights away from all of us, from absolutely all of us, and I'm sorry, I'm sick of the rhetoric of hey man, I'm just getting a paycheck, I'm just doing my job. There is no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. At the end of the day, you chose the wrong job if you're looking to still be a gun owner, and you should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. Absolutely ashamed of yourself. And that is one way, aside from putting pressure on them with comments, you know what I mean, in the comment period, that you can put pressure on them just in regards of everyday things like selling items, at a gun store. So I think you're going to see that a lot more. I think you're going to see a lot more gun shops, a lot more distribution, if they care, if they're based, shall we say, stopping sales to a lot of federal law enforcement, including ATF. think that's absolutely going to happen. A prime example of that already is T-Rex Arms, right? You have companies like T-Rex Arms that sells body armor, but they won't sell body armor to Connecticut, including Connecticut law enforcement. So Connecticut law enforcement or whatever, because if you're not familiar, Connecticut does ban body armor to civilians. So they say, hey, even if we get a law enforcement officer contacting us saying, hey, we want to buy your body armor. They say, no, we're not going to sell it to you. We will not sell you body armor. Imagine how quickly that law would start being thought about if all other distribution centers that sold body armor and all other shops that sold body armor stopped selling it to Connecticut. At the end of the day, the law enforcement departments themselves do not supply, they don't stitch and thread and make their own body armor. Okay, they buy it elsewhere. Sometimes that's the way to achieve some sort of change when the regular system, the regular voting system there is not working. Just don't sell it to them. And I think that may actually create some change moving forward. Obviously time will tell. Who the hell knows, what's going to be the deal. And of course, there are a lot of, even let's use that body armor example, right? There are a lot of body armor companies that are incredibly anti-gun. I'm not going to drop names and everything like that. But I can tell you that there are many companies, well-known companies, that I know for a fact. I have friends that work directly with these companies, and these companies are adamantly anti-civilian gun ownership. They love creating their products for law enforcement. That's not the issue in selling firearms to law enforcement. But when it comes to private ownership of guns and body armor to civilians, they are adamantly against it. So you got companies like that. So does federal agencies even go through local gun shops? I know Department of Homeland Security Training Center, which is in my backyard, they do through SIG, DD, Glock, Hornady, and federal. They don't go through local gun shops. Feds would just bypass that and go straight to the source manufacturer. Yes, absolutely. So let me rephrase that. My point is not on a distribution level per se, right? Because obviously, as far as departments as a whole in federal agencies, they're going to go directly to source contracts like that. But what I mean is privately. So you're, Joe Schmo ATF agent, and you want to go buy a firearm privately. Don't sell it to them, man. Don't sell it to them. There's many ATF agents that are, gun owners that own firearms, as crazy as that sounds. I'm sorry, but you're not buying guns or ammo at the local gun store. You know what I mean? Feel what we're all going through right now. That's what I mean. And I think there could definitely be a new social media push. Say, if 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 more gun shops did that, and it goes all over the country, and people start making that a theme, a common theme, I think that would be a way to affect maybe some sort of, hey, this is what we're going through right now. You're feeling what the pressure that you yourself are pushing on us. The special privileges are ridiculous, are absolutely ridiculous. I know many gun shops that will do that in states like New York. So in states like New York, the SAFE Act applies to only the civilians of the state. So if you're in New York State and you're in law enforcement, you can buy and own whatever firearms you would like, whatever magazine capacities you would like. I call bullshit on that. I think that's absolutely disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting. And a lot of those law enforcement officers will go outside of the state to states like Pennsylvania, to other states surrounding New York, in order to buy said standard capacity magazines and bring them back into New York because they're absolutely compliant being New York law enforcement. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of gun shops. Guess what? Even though they're New York law enforcement, they won't sell them a damn thing. A single thing. Won't sell them a gun, won't sell them ammo, because you know what? It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm sorry, but you're sitting there, and now keep in mind, here's the deal, guys. Their department is supplying them with what their department needs them to have. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about private ownership. So as a private, you're off of your law enforcement shift, you get to go home and you get to enjoy the Second Amendment. You get to enjoy your standard AR-15 with a standard 30-round magazine because you're in law enforcement, but Joe Schmo down the street, because he's not in law enforcement, would get arrested, and you yourself would arrest him for it, even though you can have what he can't have. And you will go across the state lines to buy it, and you'll buy it legally. And there's also some gun shops in New York that will sell it to you legally. That's ridiculous to me. That's absolutely ridiculous. And there's many shops out there that are very based and will not sell to law enforcement. They won't do it. They won't sell to law enforcement as a private person. Sure, a lot of local gun shops do not handle the distribution of firearms to an agency, a distribution of firearms to local law enforcement, but there's a lot of shops out there that handled, just regular sales to people that are off the clock. And that same very thing happens with ATF. ATF comes into shops and buys guns that their very heads at the moment, as far as the heads of the agency, are trying to get rid of, are trying to ban, are trying to restrict. Now, my question to you is, if they are restricted, do you think said ATF agent is going to be affected by the new restrictions? Probably not. Probably not. So I don't know. I'm trying to throw you guys solutions, not even solutions, suggestions that are away from the norm, right? That are away from the norm, because I'm sick of the common rhetoric on YouTube of just regurgitating, email, right? Comment on all this stuff, because we need to start thinking outside of the box. We really do. And there is power at local level with these shops. You, as a shop, we still have at the moment the freedom in this country to say no. That's your political stance. Your political stance to say no against these folks, because they're working for an agency that is currently trying to strip us of our rights. Training groups out there. There's many training groups that will train full lineups of ATF agents. They are literally training those agents half of the time to go on raids to take firearms away from civilians. So whether, obviously the training group is not sitting there like, okay, this is how you kick down Jim Bob's door to take his AR-15, but they're utilizing those same training and tactics to then go and push through their unconstitutional BS and enforce their unconstitutional BS. Now, does the ATF just go and take firearms from civilians? No, that's an ignorant comment. Obviously, there are other things that the ATF does, and there are definitely times that the ATF is maybe arresting a bad person, a person that's very much doing something violent or whatever against another human being. So there are times like that. I'm sorry though, but those very small and minimal times are shadowed by a massive mountain of overarching unconstitutional acts that are in your entire inception as an agency, from the very beginning to the very end. And even if there's a lucky time that something that something actually valiant happens, that's even hard for me to say because of what your agency supports as a whole. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe the answer, like I said, is the gun shops stopping sales, is training groups saying, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, if you're in the ATF, we're not going to train you. You got to find training elsewhere. Sorry, that's our thing." And sure, they'll go to another training group, whatever. But I think that would catch on pretty quick. I would think that would catch on pretty damn quick, of people saying, "Look, man, we're not going to have any involvement in this. We're not going to do this." And I think you'd also notice real quick, how many training groups, how many gun shops are really not super pro-gun, are really not, but are more so just pro-government and pro-system and establishment and the current direction that the government is heading, right? They will blindly support whatever the government says, no matter what. And that's what I think you would see a lot of. If a lot of people ended up pushing that through, you'd see a lot of that. So, I don't know. 6 houses down from where I live is ATF agent in charge of backyard checks for NFA items, or background checks for NFA items. He's 110% pro-gun and thinks their laws suck. He brings up issues like this all the time and gets turned down. Yeah, I mean, it's like you chose the wrong profession, unfortunately. I don't know how somebody could be pro-gun and work for that agency, although they are. There are some out there. So that's why I know that they would feel the pressure from that. As a regular pro-gun person, they would start realizing like, shit, I'm kind of working for the wrong agency here. When they go to their local gun shop and they're saying, hey, I'm sorry, but you guys got to stop pushing this stuff through and we're not going to sell something to you because it's ridiculous. You can't push this stuff through. You can't almost put us out of business with your restrictions, although you yourself are not writing them. Your superiors, your bosses are, and you will uphold them because you have proven that already. We are not going to sell you a gun. We're not going to sell you ammo. Sorry, we're not going to do that. Just like the gun shops that won't sell firearms to New York State law enforcement because it's BS. It's absolute BS. Absolutely ridiculous. And those training groups, same deal. Those training groups, hey man, you guys are pushing through some of the most unconstitutional rhetoric that we've seen in our country's history. We're not going to train you anymore. Sorry, we're not going to train you anymore. Go find training elsewhere. And I think maybe you might see a little bit more pressure from that. Now, the other thing that could very well happen from that is huge backlash. We've seen it before when people get involved with the IRS, even when people have issues with the ATF. You see now audits all the time, and you see them being real nasty towards gun shops that are doing that, and that may very well be the case. But I don't know, guys. I don't have the answers. I'm just trying to give you something that I haven't heard in the way of the gun social media community. Because if the only ability that we have is just to email and comment, I just don't think that is a successful long-term, this is what it's going to be as far as for success. So take that for what you will. I think your idea is awesome. I wish that did happen. Sean, me too. All right. You've been enjoying my Saint evac. Have you used it? I have not. I've not used it. Some of the agents must be convinced they are doing the right thing. Misguided. Yeah, I mean, I think that could very well be the case. I think that somebody could definitely... I don't think it's too far out there to see somebody's mindset. Now, I don't agree with this mindset, but I can kind of put my mind in theirs and try to understand it. I could see them saying, hey, I'm super pro-gun. I don't agree with the ATF, so I want to get into the ATF to change it, right? I want to get into the ATF to try to make a change. And I'm sorry, but I think that's a very naive way to think, because when you get into it, you start seeing what a massive mound of unconstitutional bullshit that somebody really is. And I think instead of changing it, they just become another drone in the agency, like Orwell is typing in, his information on the computer, in the Ministry of Truth or wherever he works at in the book. You know, and I think that that is what a lot of these government agents become, is just a drone to the system, you know, typing in, you know, and doing these unconstitutional things without even really realizing it. And now it's just a paycheck, and now they're, you know, oh, I don't agree with it, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm just going to keep doing it. You know, and that's what you're seeing. Maybe cease in sales of firearms and ammunition privately would make them be like, damn, you know, maybe what I'm doing isn't great. Maybe I'm, you know, really not. Or maybe that wouldn't work at all. I don't know. I don't have the answers. But I think what you're going to see is there's probably going to be some BS with the comment period. I think they're probably going to be real crafty about it, and they're probably going to shorten it a real good amount, so they're not going to allow as many comments. They're going to do some stupid stuff, like they're going to try to, you know, I don't know. I think they're going to make it so that they are going to push this through regardless. And you know, I don't want to be fear-mongering to you guys, but I think they are trying incredibly hard to push this stuff through, and I think they're going to kind of fudge the lines a little bit in order to make that happen. That's my thoughts. I think 30 days from now, we're going to be looking at, and I'm probably going to be doing a live stream about braces becoming a major issue. You know, if you own an 80% that you bought and you build or whatever, you're going to get a little uncomfortable these next few weeks, because there may very well be a change that makes you and forces you to have a decision to make. You know, that's unfortunate, and that's what we're constantly faced with. And sooner or later, we will all be faced with those decisions. It's unfortunate, but that is the new reality. That is the new reality for sure. We got about 15 minutes left, guys. I'm going to open this up for a little bit of a Q&A. I haven't been on now in like 3 weeks. So if you guys have any questions, even not related to what we've been talking about, I'll give you a few seconds. Throw them down in the live chat. I'll try to answer them the best that I can. If there's no questions, that's no problem. You guys know the deal. Will end a little bit early, and you know, nothing wrong with that. But you know, let me know now. I'll give you a few seconds to type it in if you have any questions. As far as for updates with videos that are coming out here in the next few days, I will have a Samson Manufacturing ATM stock review, A-Team stock review for the Mini 14. So pumped about that stock. Brought it to the range today, and it has been incredible. Like I goober out over that A-Team stock from Samson Manufacturing. It's so cool, and I really dig it quite a bit. So fair warning, it's going to be a raving review because it just hits the cool factor hard for me. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. It was really cool to get it to the range today. And it really does change the way that the Mini 14 handles entirely, which is pretty cool. There will be... I know this is interesting timing, reviewing a new brace, but I am going to be getting in the new SB Tactical side-folding AK brace that they just came out with. It is designed to go on different AK variants without any sort of adapters. It's going to slide right underneath the pistol grip. That was very interesting to me because I have a Yugo M92 AK pistol that I absolutely love and wanted to use as more of a backpack EDC gun. But I didn't have a folding adapter on there yet. I was planning on putting one on there in the future, but this allows me to not have to worry about that, and I could really fold it, fit it in the bag, you know, and it works out well. Or so I think. I don't know. I haven't taken a look at it yet. So that's going to be coming in a week or two. And then I also should have another 5 guns that I regret buying. The last one was that I don't regret buying, but I will have another one of 5 guns that I regret buying probably at the end of next week. So stay tuned for that one as well. That should be an interesting one. How's the ammo situation in your area? In Northwest Arkansas, it's getting slightly better. Same deal. Guns have been pretty good as far as availability, pricing, etc. Ammo, still really bad. We have gotten more in, but the prices are still going through the roof. You know, I don't think that's changing anytime soon as far as pricing. You might start seeing it come back. I've been hearing rumors that people have been catching it online here or there, more so than it was a few months ago. So, you know, maybe online is getting better. I think it's going to take a long time before you start seeing it like back on the shelves with no limit. But I have also been hearing rumors, even in Pennsylvania, that in the more rural areas of Pennsylvania, like way out, you know, northern PA and stuff like that, that a lot of the more rural gun shops actually have like a very good stock of ammunition. It's not too badly priced, and there's like only a 5-box limit or whatever. You know, is it getting better? Who the hell knows, really? I don't know. The only time it's going to get better is if people stop wanting to pay for it, and that's it. You know, that's it. That's the only time it's going to get better. So, you know, if people are like, I don't really need it, I don't want to pay those prices for it, and if that happens at a mass scale, then it's going to get better, and prices will go down. If that doesn't happen, then it's not. That's the reality of it. All right. Guys, I'm going to end this live stream now. Stay tuned. I will hopefully post the links here after this video ends, and we will get that rolling. If you guys have any other questions about what we talked about in this live stream or anything else on the channel, you guys know the deal. Throw them down in the comment section, and it might take me a few days, but I pride the channel as to always getting back to you. No matter what, I'm going to answer your comments. So thank you guys so much, and the comment and activity really does help out the channel. Obviously, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and stay tuned for more great videos to come soon.